more participants. So we may move that to next week, just so I don't have to like do it again because it's an important part. So yeah, I'll probably say that for next week. But this week, see, I'm gonna kind of jump around. Uh, so today I might just get into CapCut a little bit. For any video that you want to do. So yeah, today we'll kind of just jump into CapCut, play around with some different stuff, and then yeah, go from there. So let's see. So were you here Monday? You're usually here like Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, right? So are you switching to Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or you just okay? Okay. Okay. Cool. Just making sure because I don't want to teach you the same thing again and again. So, all right, that's fine. So yeah, we'll do that. Let's see. Okay. So what do I want to do first? Well, typically I show like a cool video that I find online that I think is interesting. So I'll play the video that I had found recently. I'll show this one. So like I said, we were gonna do green screen, but we'll save it. But I still want to show this video to just show you the type of stuff that is done with green screen. Um, some stuff you've seen in movies that you probably didn't think were special effects or green screen, but they really were, and how kind of creative you can get with it if you were, in the film industry and decided to pursue it further. So this is just some stuff that you can do with it. So let me.
This is what movies look like without special effects, like the behind the scenes footage of The Avengers, Man of Steel, Pirates of the Caribbean, and so much more. Long before Johnny Depp's live action courtroom drama, he and Orlando Bloom were busy fighting off zombie sharks on a sinking boat. The only problem is, zombie sharks are a little hard to come by, so the Pirates of the Caribbean VFX team made do with a massive blue screen set, a hydraulic powered boat, and plenty of imagination. Tom Holland starred in the video game remake Uncharted, whose opening scene is a high-octane fall from a cargo plane without a parachute. You'd think Spider-Man would be okay doing his own aerial stunts, but they've brought in wires, a giant hydraulic arm, and a blue set to help producers pull off the death-defying scenes. You don't even need to use real cars in movies anymore. This iconic scene from X-Men Days of Future Past has Quicksilver rushing in to save his colleagues from an explosion at 2,000 miles per second. To create this faster than sound sequence, filmmakers filmed Evan Peters running on a treadmill and blended it with a rotating shot that had been slowed down. Tasty. The result was this slow-mo masterpiece. This scene in John Wick 3 just couldn't have been filmed on a real street. Instead, fake motorbikes, green carts, a complex winch system, and a whole bunch of dudes in green morph suits all helped Keanu Reeves fight off his attackers in slow motion. They even had a guy blowing wind on Keanu's hair to make it look like the bike was moving. Speaking of Spider-Man, ever wondered how they make your friendly neighborhood Spidey look so good? It's mostly blue screens. And a whole lot of fighting that only really looks good from a certain angle. Despite all the help, some of Tom's acrobatics are actually quite impressive. This scene from Supergirl looks a little different without the post effects added in. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Superheroes without their powers just look like mimes in fancy leotards.
We're not gonna win this today.
When the cast returned to Jumanji, the majority of their jungle adventures were way too dangerous to film for real. Plus, where are you going to find a herd of angry ostriches at short notice? The film and effects crew utilized some inventive blue screen sets and high-end CGI to create a visual masterpiece. One of the biggest movies of all time, Avengers Endgame, was an absolute masterpiece in terms of visual effects and computer-generated backdrops. Not only did teams have to render special abilities and costumes onto hundreds of superheroes, but all this with an apocalyptic wasteland as the backdrop. I have to say, though, I thought Thanos would have been taller. Rather than trying to teach Jason Momoa how to breathe underwater, the team behind Aquaman used some pretty inventive visual effects to bring the DC superhero comic to life. Lighting, wires, and motion capture were all employed to take this above-ground set straight to Atlantis. Superman's Man of Steel makes every kid want to fly, but the secret to this superhero's flight ability all comes down to wires, pulleys, and a team of people pulling the strings. He's not really faster than a speeding bullet. It just looks like it when you speed up the tape. The powers might be fake, but the Man of Steel's abs are 100% real. You're probably not shocked to find out that the dinosaurs in Jurassic World aren't real. That's right, they're almost completely CGI. Wait, almost? We hate to ruin the mystery behind these fierce velociraptors, but they're actually just guys in gray leotards and raptor helmets. For the most part, Chris Pratt just has to pretend there's a vicious predator standing in front of him. What about the T-Rex? Nope, completely computer generated. In this scene from World War Z, Brad Pitt's character throws a live grenade inside an airplane to save himself from a frenzied zombie herd. Rather than sacrifice 100 extras at 30,000 feet, the special effects team used a prop plane, wind cannons, wires, and a giant green screen set to create the epic scene. In the live-action reboot of the Disney classic Aladdin, it was always going to be a challenge to bring all the magical elements to life. From flying the magic carpet to running through the Cave of Wonders, producers used blue screens, hidden supports, and specially designed motion capture suits for Will Smith's Genie. If you wanted me to describe the plot of Alice in Wonderland, I'd probably say it's 2 parts fever dream mixed with 3 parts of whatever the caterpillars got. True to the surreal nature of the novel, the 2010 remake relied on whimsical CGI, green suits, and stilts to create characters of all sizes and perspectives. The logistics of building a massive wall are way beyond most film companies. It's even beyond most presidents. That's the reason why producers working on Maze Runner used incredibly realistic CGI to render these massive maze walls. There's only small constructions used for reference. The rest is a complete fabrication. In Disney's Beauty and the Beast remake, the fearsome prince turned monster is a terribly intimidating creature. In reality, it's just a guy in a motion capture suit. I'm not sure if that's padding he's got there, or if the guy only does leg day, but those are some beastly quads. This river rapids scene in The Hobbit had so much going on all at once. There's a raging river, orcs firing arrows and swinging swords, as well as making sure all the dwarves stay in their barrels. Swap out weapons for green pool noodles, add in some well-timed splashes of water, and you got yourself an authentic indoor river rapid adventure. Behind the silky smooth animation of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, who knew there were actually four ninjas underneath it all wearing motion capture suits and fake shell backpacks made out of foam? Cowabunga! We're still a few years away from the android servants used in the Kingsman Golden Circle, but the special effects team used an actress in a green morph suit to render a fairly convincing CGI droid. The robot stand-in even wore roller skates to give the movement some authenticity for the final shot. A movie full of sentient apes is a VFX team's worst nightmare. Even though finding extras that act like monkeys sounds easy enough, adding the computer rendering to a dozen motion capture suits is an exhausting process. But the end result is all worth it. While watching Planet of the Apes, it's hard to tell it's just some guys in gray costumes monkeying around. The Matrix was one of the first movies to really use mind-bending VFX and innovative cinema techniques in a way people hadn't seen before. They coined the bullet time shot to create this bullet-dodging scene on the rooftop using green screens, multiple moving cameras, and wires to keep Neo from hitting the ground. When it comes to superheroes, there's one you definitely call overpowered. With almost every superpower in the book in her arsenal, making Captain Marvel come to life on the big screen was any VFX animator's dream. If climbing Mount Everest is one of life's hardest achievements, it makes sense that a film crew wouldn't be up at the peak of the world's highest mountain. Instead, teams built base camps under a giant green screen backdrop. Treacherous walks across icy caverns and climbs up rock peaks are all done in the comfort of an air-conditioned set. America's favorite superhero, Captain America. He needed a little help pulling off the superhuman feats on display during Civil War, and help came courtesy of some cool practical and visual effects. When he's not manhandling helicopters, he's leaping 2 stories into an open window. When you're doing a live-action remake of a story that is only one human character, your VFX team is going to have their work cut out for them. In Disney's 2016 Jungle Book remake, extras in blue morph suits take the place of monkeys, only to be edited in later. Baloo is just Jon Favreau sitting in a pool, and Mowgli has to pretend those hand puppets are actually wild animals. Back in the old days of cinema, teams would have to wait until snowfall to shoot classic scenes like this one in Mulan. Now it's all done in post-production. Even the horse is fake. Likewise, any of the scenes involving any of the aerial acrobatics. It's all done at half speed with wires to help the actors jump and spin through the air. To perfectly map the behaviors, movement, and actions of a friendly dog in The Call of the Wild, the VFX team used an actor in a motion tracking suit instead of training an actual dog. Good boy. In Disney's Maleficent, Angelina Jolie's portrayal was equal parts amazing and terrifying, but creating her winged flight into battle and aerial acrobatics couldn't have been done without the help of a blue screen set, a complex system of rotating harnesses, and a team of blue-suited technicians.
My dog stepped on a bee.
Yeah, so that was just some stuff that they use green screen for in the film industry. Now, we can't replicate that specifically, but we can do some other interesting stuff. But bigger film crew, they have the team and the resources and the money to make those creative visual effects. So they're able to do that. But if you're working on small budget films or like student films in school or anything, you probably don't have access to that. So you use what you have. So that's a little bit about green screen. Trying to decide though if I would have just use it today and then use it again next week in case. Yeah, we'll probably use it. So yeah, so we'll do that second half. So around 5, we'll use the green screen. But I want to know from you guys, have you seen anything recently in terms of movies or shows that caught your eye, or any videos that you guys have seen that you're like, wow, I want to learn how to do that, or that was cool? Movies, TV shows, YouTube videos, anything like that? Yeah.
That's a great schedule. By the way, that is
Oh,
kind of unique how some guys who are wearing those gray outfits, it's were just monkeying around. I find that hilarious, but it's a technique if you're right if you're watching Rise of the Planet of the Apes, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, no, you're right. For sure. I'm gonna hold that thought, Elijah. I'll come right back to you. So, what was the show you said? From?
See where animals, it's like walking out of something, like let animals out. And I'm sure they have like one of those.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this show.
that was yeah, like walking past somebody touching this.
Yeah, most likely. If it usually has animals, it's most likely CGI because, like, you can't bring a tiger next to somebody. You don't want to risk that. So it's better to create a CGI version of it. But I know dogs usually in movies. Well, if there's a dog in a movie, they used to be real, but nowadays they're starting to use CGI dogs because I guess it's just easier and the technology is better now. But um, like dogs are easy to train and easy to get on set. So typically those are easier. But for stuff like yeah, like lions and bears and even like some other animals, probably got to just use CGI just because it's easier. So yeah, I'm gonna check the show out though. This sounds interesting. Yeah, I've seen this actor before. Um,
Christmas movie.
Best man. Yeah,
He
yeah. I knew I'd seen his face. He always reminds me of Chris Rock a little bit, but not like really. He doesn't look like him, but for some reason, like he always resembled him to me. Um, yeah,
So when they filmed it, the remake, part of it was CGI and the other part was an actual actor. Because you know how like he morphs his face to like kill children.
yeah,
That's CGI.
for sure. Yeah, I was just funny you mentioned that because I was just watching it with my nephew, and yeah, so those like scenes where like he opens his mouth and like all those teeth come out, that's CGI for sure. And that like house scene where they're like now his abandoned like Pennywise's abandoned house and they go in and go through those different rooms, all that, yeah, CGI. But um the actor who played Pennywise, he had the costume and stuff and the makeup, like that was real. Um yeah,
Pennywise, he never gets old.
yeah,
All he does
yeah,
is live in a sewer and kidnaps little kids who are trying to get their stuff back.
yep,
And that
yeah,
thing is to laugh it's Daddy, I
yeah,
was gonna get you. Okay, okay, okay. When it comes to
yeah,
Pennywise,
that's
I can't
Pennywise.
resist.
Yeah, so like these scenes with the teeth and stuff, fake for sure, and like or they shoot him in the head and stuff. Yeah, so they do a really good job, making it look realistic. I remember seeing this movie in theaters actually when it came out. I was in like high school, I was a senior, and so uh, I'd never heard of it before. I heard of the movie, but I didn't ever see it. So I saw the remake of it. I'm like, dang, this is pretty cool. I mean, the concept was interesting too. And they had a lot of child actors in here that I think were good and did acted really well. So um, yeah, they have a chapter two, I think too. Um, but that's like when they're all grown up. But
And then what was the original one came out 90s.
yeah, like 96 or something or 90 or I don't remember. Let me see. Yeah, 1990. Yeah, I never saw the original one, but I think probably not because in the 90s they didn't have the technology, so they use a lot of special effects. And special effects, I mean like physical things, nothing computer generated. So it could be from makeup or like prosthetics or uh, anything like that. But I don't. They didn't use CGI. I don't think. I actually never seen this movie, but I doubt that they use CGI. They probably use some makeup and special effects more to like pull off whatever they're trying to pull off. But they didn't really have the technology back then to make anything real graphic. Uh, yeah, yep. So um, yeah, it. So what else? What else? So yeah, we'll second half like around 5, we'll like turn on the green screen and like just do some stuff with it, and I'll show you how to take it out and add other clips, move it around. But we'll jump into CapCut today. So if you have if you're able to open up the computers, and it should be on every computer. If not, let me know. Or if you can't get in, let me know. But jump into that.
Which one? Which one do you like better? Were they 90s horror movies or thinking the remakes?
Of it or just all horror movies? Um, there's some good horror movies now, but before they didn't rely on like jump scares and like especially like those crazy like CGI. For they really back in the day honed in on story because that's all they really had.
I
Yeah,
think too.
yeah. So um, like all the Halloween movies, like with Michael Myers and stuff, those are horrible, and they don't really use CGI, but
The same
it's the
story.
same story, and it's not that the recent ones aren't that good. Like, how long are you gonna chase your sister? Like all these years, like you still haven't gotten to her yet, and like he still hasn't died. So they're keeping his like
Legend.
legend alive, but it's like at some point it's got to end. But I get it; people gonna keep paying for it. Why not keep making it? But some things I think just need to end. So they make remakes, and that's the thing about this generation. I feel like it's not in terms of film. There are some original movies, yes, but a lot of the movies now are like sequels or remakes to movies that are already made. So like Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Exorcist, Scream. Well, Scream, that's they're more like just keeping it going. But um, yeah, it's just a lot of movies that they're just making remakes of old ones. So I definitely like the older movies better. Um, I think it's just it could be a like, and I wouldn't say it's a not originality because some directors like to do remakes and give their own twist to it. And like say, I was inspired by this movie, I want to do another remake to add my twist to it. So I don't think it's not original. Sometimes it is not original, but um, I don't know why it happens that much. I think it's just because yeah, I think directors want to give their own take to new movies, or maybe, honestly, the money is one of the bigger reasons. Like, if it's a movie that was popular back in the day, like, why not bring it back and do your own twists? Um, trying to think uh, what else? So yeah, like, yeah. So I think it's a variety of different things. So it could just be money. It could be, a writer just wants to, or producer wants to have their own take on a new movie. I don't know, but I think if you follow those like independent movies, those are usually original. So like those indie films or like A24 movies, those are typically newer films that are more original and creative, and I like those more because it's different, has been done before. But yep. Okay, so everybody got CapCut up. Okay, so let me know when you get it. And CapCut's cool. I talked about it before because First of all, it's free. I don't know how long it's gonna be free. I feel like they might start. They have a pro version, but even a free version, I feel like they might start charging people for because it's so good. Like you're getting a lot of different things for free. Um, I remember, like, I'm saying this like I'm old. I'm not, but I remember like years ago, I had like everything was done like by hand, one by one. But now this software, CapCut, they're able to implement AI and have stuff like there's literally a way to have the video be edited for you. You just type in what you want, have AI do it, and then they'll edit the project for you. And so you don't even have to spend that much work anymore doing edits because the software does everything for you. So this is a powerful software, and I don't know how free it's going to be for long, but uh, definitely utilize it while you can. Uh, yeah. And it implements seamlessly with YouTube and TikTok too. So if you're a YouTuber or trying to get into YouTube or a TikToker or trying to get into TikTok, this is CapCut is integrated really well with that. So like you can literally export a project to YouTube from CapCut, so you don't have to go on YouTube. It's a really good software. It's a really good software. Um, so
Okay.
all right. So you not right now, but you can. But today we'll kind of be trialing, like just testing stuff out. So uh, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can. So when you first open up CapCut, this is what you see. This is the start menu. So when you first open it, this is what you get, and everything's really straightforward in front of you. Like there's nothing hidden or deep. This is obviously how you create a project. So you just press that, and it creates the project for you. So it creates a new project for you. Down here are your save projects. So these are the projects I've been working on. Another cool thing about CapCut that I think I mentioned this before is that your projects save automatically. So you don't have to worry about keep saving stuff. So if your computer dies or something happens, like, oh shoot, my project, you don't gotta worry about that. It saves automatically. And that may sound like a small thing, but the more you work with this, you'll see that that's super important because you may forget to charge your computer and it may die on you, or um, might accidentally exit out of something and think it's gone, but it's not. It's saved. So, uh, so yeah. And so we also have some templates. So if you want to, start from somewhere, you don't have an idea, you can use some templates. So these are like TikTok templates that you can use, but I don't know how useful they would be. They might be, and we'll get into templates more, but they have some pre-installed templates to use. Um, you can also share your project with somebody else so you guys can edit together. So if you're working with like a making on a music video and you're editing it and then somebody else editing it, you can edit and then send them the project and they can edit it and y'all can edit together, which is cool because that's never really been done before. Um, yeah, before you would have to send all the footage to that person and then they would have to download it and add it in, and then you have to, if you want to send it back to them, you got to do that again. But this cuts through all of that. It's literally you just share the link and you both are in. So that's very useful for bigger collaborative projects. And then you have these things finally called spaces, where are like technically like folders kind of. So I have three spaces, but if you create a space, it's basically like a folder for your projects. Okay. Yeah. Or the eight. But I mean, if she still wants to come through today, I don't know if right. Okay. All right. Yeah. Um. Yeah. There's more in the actual when we started, but yeah, those are some ones you can use. But okay, so let's create a project. So like I said, just click this create project button at the top, and then you should get this as your workspace. And again, this may look like, a lot of windows or a lot of buttons and stuff, But I promise you, after a month, it's gonna be second nature. Because I remember when I first started out, I'm like, what do these buttons do? What does this mean? What does all this mean? Because you're starting something completely new. It's a completely new skill. So, we're just gonna take it slow. Any questions, just ask. But I really want you guys to have something that you want to edit. So, like before, like I said, if you do, I know you say you have practice. What do you do? Do you do like what sport do you do or activity? Dance. Okay, nice. So, I mean, I don't know if you're like the social media person, like if you're into that, or like do your dances on TikTok, but you could create some cool effects, especially with dance because it's a lot of motion. So dance, film, those are typically the best stuff to edit because you could really play with motion and you know the way you move and like the speed of that and slow it down and speed it up and rotate it. So it's a lot of stuff that you could do with that. And so that's cool. So yeah, if you have any ideas that you want to tap into with this or anything that you think of, like how do I do that? Just ask. Um, and then all right, so here's our work. They call this technically the workspace. So what I mean by that is this is where you'll be working, the space that you'll be working. So if you hear me say workspace, that's what that means. It's the workspace. So first things first, right? How do we get footage into our project? How do we get photos, music? How do we get all of that into the project? Well, make sure you click import. And for people who don't know what you might on yours, it might say media or library, but it's the same thing. I'm running on the Mac, so it's a little bit different, but it should say media, import, library, something like that up here. So importing always means bringing something in. Exporting means taking something out. So importing, if you ever want to bring something in, just remember that's import. So we want to go to our import, double click. You may not have anything yet on your computers, but because you guys are using like our computer, so I don't think there's files on there yet. But I do have files for you guys to use in a minute. Um, but I'm just showing you how to bring stuff in if you wanted to. So again, import, and then let's say I have this the green screen footage I worked with yesterday. So click import, and we got our video in our media library, is what we call it. So now we have our video, and so let's add another one. So I'm gonna press import. Let's add one more. All right, so we'll add this one. So now we got two videos. Great. Now we have our videos in our project to work with. And so anytime you import footage, it always goes in your media browser, which is the area where your media will be stored once you import it. So this can be photos, videos, music, interviews, whatever. It all goes right there. So let's say I want to import some music. Um, I know music always ends in MP3, so I'm gonna just bring this in. So can bring music in too. So here's the music, here's my video. You can also import pictures. So I'm gonna do JPEG. We'll talk about like abbreviations and endings. Um, but let's see what we got. Sure, I'll bring this photo in. So it's like a Fortnite thing. All right. So like I said, you can bring pictures in, videos, and music or audio. So now how do we get it to our timeline to actually edit? So our timeline is this right here. Your timeline is where you'll actually start making your cuts, moving stuff around, putting things on top of each other. That whole kind of thing is done in your timeline. So simply drag your footage to the timeline. So like I said, you guys don't have any footage, but we do have this place right here called stock material. On yours, it may be called library. You can use this footage. This is footage CapCut gives uh, users to just work with footage if they don't have any. So in your case, you would find any video that you want. I'll use like these two videos and just drag it to the bottom. So again, it should be stock or library, one of the two, and then click it, and you should have access to videos. I'm just on trending right now. And so whatever video, let's say click, just find 2 videos and just drag it to the timeline.
What if you want to remove the exam footage that CapCut kind of gets you started?
Is it already footage in there that you're saying?
They do a walkthrough of the bills, and they kind of give you like examples. So like, you go here, they gave me this example.
Yeah.
It's like they automatically add footage just to kind of
Yeah.
walk you through the steps.
Yeah. I actually didn't know that was already in there, but that's good. So yeah, footage. They give you, I'm just using this just because you don't have any. But once we start actually using our phones to record stuff, we'll have some footage to work with. But just for the sake of this, I would just use theirs. So yeah, you can use the one that they gave you or the rest of these in the stock library. So get at least 2 clips to the timeline. So I got these 2 right here. Right, cool. So now we're on our timeline. So this white line right here, this is our playhead is what it's called. It's basically the way that you trim through your footage. Sorry, you what's the word? It's called forgot the technical name for it, but basically this playhead allows you to scrub. That's what I meant. So it's called scrubbing. Scrubbing means just moving your playhead through your footage just to see what you have. So I'm scrubbing right now. I'm using this playhead, this white line right here, to move through my footage. So now I can see it in real time when I move it. So I know where everything is. I know how long it is, what scenes are where, whatnot. So that's your playhead, this white line, and you use that to scrub through footage. So we play our footage. It's kind of slow because this is like a slow-mo type of vibe, but we can see how it plays through the video that we set up and then cut to the next shot and it plays through. Any questions with any of that so far? All right, cool. So now let's say we want to add music to this shot because this is silent. There's nothing going on right here. And I'm sure on yours there's no audio as well. So let me see if there's a way to get audio. There is a way to get audio for you guys. So if we click audio up here, so let's add some music. Let's add any type of music. So if you right next to import, it should be another button called audio. And I think I mentioned this before, but CapCut, you can't use mainstream music. So if you want to use like a Rihanna beat or you want to use like a Rihanna song or a Drake song or a Beyonce song, you can't use it because you don't have copyright. You don't have permission to use it. It would be copyright if you use it and take it in your video and sell it or whatever. But you know, this is just for classroom purposes, so nobody's gonna be listening to this really. So it's not really going out. You're not selling anything, so it's fine. But I'm just showing you in CapCut, you don't have access to like mainstream music that you would find on Apple Music or Spotify. But they do have other music for you to use. So, like I said, let's add some audio. So I'll add this song. I don't even know what it is. So it's like a fashion summer hip hop beat. If you don't like that, just search another type of song or another artist, and it'll give you a type beat. So let's say I want a Kendrick Lamar song. So remember, they won't give me an actual Kendrick Lamar song, but they'll give me a song like a Kendrick Lamar type beat or Kendrick Lamar remix or something. So I'll use this Kendrick Lamar trap type beat. So once you find whatever you want, let's listen to it real quick. Typical trap beat. So if we want to bring that into our project, simply same idea, click and drag it down to the bottom. And so now we have our music under our footage. So that's really important. You want to have your music under your footage because the music's playing under the video. So you want to have that playing under the clip layer. So everybody got that? All right. And so notice in Premiere, you have different I mean, not Premiere, CapCut, you have different layers. So this is one layer. This is your video layer. This is your audio layer. So everything will fall within each layer. So uh so if we play this right now, the music should be playing under this video. It doesn't match. Let me see. How's this working? Hmm, it's weird. Let me delete it and bring it back. So I'll bring this one. It's weird. Let me try to bring another song. I don't know why it's not. They're doing that. So is it playing on yours? So you can hear it when you drag it down and you play it. Can you hear it? Yeah, I don't know why it's not coming through on mine.
Is your computer muted? Because mine was.
My computer is not muted. I was just playing music and it's reading it right here, but it's not playing through the speaker. Let me try something.
Actually, I like that actually. That track is
It's so weird. Let me play a song and see. Let me change mine. Okay, I hear it right here. So now we got it. Exactly. All right. Okay. So let's try it again. So I'm gonna drag that audio clip down and it should play. There we go. All right. So we simply added a clip and added music. That's simple. So right there is some standard video editing, bringing footage in, adding music under it. And so there you go. You got music and you got footage in. I mean, you got mute. Yeah, you got footage and you got some music in there. Any questions with that so far? By adding music, adding video, or anything like that to the timeline? Uh, cool. So we added music to our shot. Cool. So now let's try something else. Let's cut up footage. Let's learn how to cut footage. So let's say we want to delete something that we don't want. So I'm actually gonna bring that other clip back in. So I have these two clips right here. So let's say I want to cut it. You don't. I just removed it to start over. Sorry. So yeah. So you can keep the music in, but the thing with the music is, remember, you cut what's selected. So if you, let's say we cut this video, and I'll show you how to do it. And you want to make, you have to also decide if you want to cut the music too, or keep the music, because when you cut, like I said, it cuts whatever you select. So for example, I'll walk you through this. So here we have our music and we have our two shots, right? So let's say I want to cut right before or right after, I'm sorry, right before she jumps into his arms. So let's say I want to cut all of this until this point. So I want to grab my playhead, go to the point where I'm about to cut. Okay, cool. I want to cut there. Come up here and click the split tool. So this is the tool, like a blade means cut, or you can select B on the keyboard, but you can also go up here, select split. So now we have enabled our blade tool. So this allows us to cut footage and music and titles, cut everything. So like I said, I want to cut right here. So I have my blade selected, and then cut up here. So this is blade tool split, split cut. So now it's cut. I use my cut. So now we see the cut right here. It's cut. But now we have to go back to our select tool if we want to delete that. So now I'm back to my select tool. So I'm gonna delete that part that I wanted to cut and delete it. And now it's deleted. So now if we play it, that part is deleted out. But notice our music is still good. We didn't cut our music because we didn't select our music. But let's say we want to cut our music too. So if you ever want to undo anything, it's Command Z on a Mac, but Control Z on a PC. So if you ever want to go back, you can do that, or you can press this undo button right here. So let's say now we want to cut the music too. So again, find that cut tool. I'm there. Find out where you want to cut the music. Let's say I want to cut it here. You have to make sure you have it over that part. So you cut it. So now that part's cut. So I see the cut right there. Let's say I want to cut it to about here. Boom. I got my two cuts. So now I have to go back to my select tool. And let's say I want to just delete that. Boom, it's deleted. But notice it's this space right there. So if we were to play this, it would be nothing. So what do we do about that? Well, you could do one or two things. You could either move this one up or expand it back or just delete that whole section entirely. Or sorry, you can, well, yeah, those are two options really. You can bring this back up here, or you can extend your music out like that. But typically you don't want to cut music because you're gonna hear that jump. You want to cut everything so it's seamless. So in this case, I wouldn't cut the music, but I was just showing you, you would have to cut, you have to select the layer, certain layer. So again, so if I were to really edit this video, let's say a client said, okay, I have this video, me and my fiance, we want to do this romantic video. I would probably want to just keep my music as is. I don't want to make any cuts to my music unless it's at the end where it's like fades off and I want to cut that. But typically, I want the music to stay how it is. I just want to cut the shots. So, um, so yeah, that's how you cut video and cut audio. You're just simply using this cut tool and cutting where you find is appropriate for you. And then remember, you got to click that select tool again to delete it, to click the footage that you cut to delete it. Because if you have the split tool and you make cuts and try to say, okay, cool, I made my cuts, and you want to delete it, wait, I can't delete it because I don't have my select tool. So once you have now you can make cuts and do some stuff. Some stuff like that. So that's simple cutting and selecting. Um, any questions with that so far?
No questions.
All right. Using this to scroll through, see my footage. That's where we are right now. So notice this music though is longer than our video. Our music is longer than our video. So I probably want to cut it to the end of the video so I don't have my music just going with no video. So I'm gonna cut it so it hits the end of the video. So I'm gonna go back up here. I'm gonna just click B because it's easier, but you can go up here and click it too. But B is a shortcut. So I'm gonna cut it where it ends. Boom, ends there. Go back to my select tool, delete that. So now it all ends together like that. All right. Oh, right. What now? Okay, so let's say you have you're making a music video for somebody or you're making a movie and you want to add a title and you want to name it. So let's say you're doing a video or you want to name it Asante's music video or Asante's short film, whatever. So let's add some text to our videos. Let's try to add some titles. So again, to add text, simply find text up here and we'll see this screen. So here is your layer for text or titles or words. Simply click this and just drag it to the top of your video. And so you can also extend this out so it goes, so it covers the entire video. And so if we play it, you see it says default text. So we added text already, but let's change the name because we don't want it to say default text. So if you want to edit any layer, you have to click it first. So if I want to edit my text, I have to click it. If I want to edit my video, I have to click it. If I want to edit my audio, I have to click it. So you have to click that layer that you want to edit because it doesn't know which one you want to edit. So you have to click it. So in this case, I want to edit my text layer, which is this orange one at the top. And so let's say I want to change the text. Right now it says default text. But let's say I want to change it to my music video. So I'm going to just delete that, type this my music video. So now it says my music video. Okay. So let's say I want to change the color and the font and the size and everything. Well, again, you got to click that layer. So I'm clicking my text layer where I have my music video, and you can change the size like this, font size. I don't like using white for this because we can't really see it. So let's change it to maybe a darker color, maybe red or purple, something where the colors contrast. Let's say I want to change the font. Go to font, change up that. A bunch of different fonts. Everybody with me right here? Got that? So I just changed the color, the size, and the font of my text. So they also have different styles. So if you want to just use a pre-made one, you can go to scroll down and use these pre-made effects or styles. That'll help you. So this one, and you want to be
Where did you
so if you again click your text title right here, orange. If you scroll down, it's a lot more settings at the top. You just got to scroll down. Yep. So yeah, it's a lot of other stuff. You just got to scroll down. And and I would just play with stuff. Like if I scroll down more, I can add a stroke. So add some outline to it. I can also add a background, you know, change that up, the height of it. I can add a glow if I want to. I can change the intensity of that. I can add a shadow if I want. And yeah, like those are a lot of settings you can work with until you get, what you want or what's appropriate. So since this is like a romantic kind of scene, I'm gonna try to make mine look like that would fit this. So let's say I'll probably name this uh, our Hawaii trip, our Bahamas 2024, right? Let's say they want to have a recap video of their trip to the Bahamas 2024. So I'm gonna make this fit this because this doesn't fit. Like if I were to send this to somebody, I'd be like, what type of text is that? So I'm gonna try to find a font that fits and a look that fits this vibe. So I probably want to do something maybe cursive. Maybe something like that. Then I'll change my size like that, color. Maybe green. Let's just see. Um, probably remove. Oops. I'll probably remove the stroke. Probably remove the background. Keep that glow. We change the color of the glow to white, but that doesn't really work because we can't really see Bahamas. So let's add a stroke again. This time, maybe like that. So yeah, this is just an example, but got a clip, and this can be a video for this couple. I went to the Bahamas 2024, something like that. And so that's adding text. So that's adding text, adding music, adding footage. Any questions so far? And again, you can cut this, the title, like you can extend that out as far as you want. Oops. Just make sure you click it so you get this cursor so to let you know to drag it. If you wanted to, you can do that, or you can just simply cut it and then delete it. And it should all be there. All right. I'll save that. So I'm also going to talk about some sound effects. So let's say you're shooting a video and you want to shoot a rain scene, but there's no rain outside. So you can't shoot that scene because you don't have rain to work with. In CapCut, they have rain sounds. They also have thunder sounds. If you want to get a sound of a dog barking in your video, they have that. If you want to get somebody honking their car horn or a punch or doorbell ringing, you can use all that. So again, if you click audio and find sound effects, you can find some different sound effects. So let's say a car crash. Let's say in my movie, there's a car crash scene, but I don't want to actually have a car crash to get that sound. I want to use a sound effect. So if I go to sound effect and just type in whatever you want, car crash, enter. Let's you can click it and preview it. Let's see. Um, that doesn't sound like a car crash. No, I know one. Let's see. It's a gunshot. Sometimes you gotta look through them and see. But car crash was here when I showed it yesterday. Let's see if I can find something else. So let's try thunder. See if we get some thunder sound effect. So we got thunder. Let's try like a barking from a dog, stuff like that. Uh, doorbell. Um, what else? Let's do like a punch. So if you're doing like a fight scene, that's how they make those fights sound real. Um, sometimes they don't have them. Stuff like that. And you might have to scroll down a little bit to find it. but they have it. Let's find one more. Maybe like let's do typing on the keyboard. Yeah. So you get the point. You can find different effects that you can use to add to your video if you want. All right. Let's see what else. So right now it's 5. So what I'll do is we'll try some stuff with the green screen and see how to take stuff out and add stuff in, and then see where we're on time. So I might save it though. Yeah, so let's work with this green screen really fast. And then take like a little break. But so the thing with green screen, these are actually really cheap to get. So if you ever wanted to buy one or work with one, uh, you can buy them for like $10, $15. So they last pretty long. So this could be a good investment depending on the project that you're doing. But um, let's see, what do we want to do? So let's use this. Christian, do you mind being a volunteer real quick? Or any gadget right now? Okay. You're here. Yeah. So, would you mind recording me? So, a good thing about green screen, you want to make sure you have good lighting, right? So you want to make sure when you have your green screen up, it's good lighting. Ideally, this will be ironed out. You don't want these creases in there. So you want it to be ironed out, good lighting, but we can work with this for now. But when we set, it'll be nice, bright, clear, ironed out. So just clean this. Or would you rather be big? Like so we're gonna put it on us. That you know, that yes, so the screen covers. Let's just so right there. Have on and that's how you quick. As long as it's well, even if you see some minutes, it's fine. As long as I'm it. All right, so just press record. So let's say I'm right here. Let's see what I want to do. Uh, let's do a like writing scene, I guess. So I'll be here, then I'll just fake run in place. Go. Yeah. I'm gonna run in place. voice.
I'd like to see that Shakespeare one. All right, 2 seconds close. Yeah. Okay.
Or you could do a little stretch. I hope you have some footage to work with. Thank you. All right. So once we have our footage recorded on our phone, um, I'll bring this into my computer, and then you'll see how to take it out and add stuff. And it's actually really simple. It's not hard at all. So I'll show you how to do this. So let's clear our timeline. So just highlight, delete everything. So I'm gonna send this video to me that just recorded. Give it a minute.
So this is not even used.
The from before or the ones that I showed you at the beginning, I'll show you. They should they should be in here as well. So if you click templates, yeah, I'll just show you this real quick. So these are pre-made like videos. So let's say I want to use this one, cinematic.
Oh, it's like
Yeah, so I'm gonna bring this, let's just bring this in.
and then you can
Replace, yeah, so yeah, and you beginning. It gives you all the effect. All you have to do is put your pictures in and it keeps everything else. So you're just replacing the footage with other footage. So if you click, so I'm gonna just go backtrack. So if you find your templates under here in the template tab, say use the first one, drag it. You right here it says 28 clips to be replaced. That means it's 28 clips in here that we can replace with your video with. So I'm gonna just click 28 clips. So here's my first one. So right now it's this building, but I can replace it with something else. So if I click replace, I can find something else to replace it with. Let's just use this. So now you see it replaced it. So you don't have to edit at all. You can just use what's already made and just put your own stuff in it. So again, I'm gonna replace these and maybe I'll use this.
but doesn't have functionalities to where you can give it a prompt and then the AI will put it together, or does it?
For certain things, yes. Like it can't like edit a project for you. Like you still have to do that, but it does give you shortcuts. Like there's a way where like if it hears the music, like whatever audio is in the shot, and you click this AI button, it'll take the audio and make it into a text, like text. So if you want to do closed captions, it can pick up whatever everyone's saying and just add the text. So you don't have to go in there physically add each text to each word somebody's saying. You could just have the AI find what they're saying and just put it off. And we have a a week literally on how to use AI to make it easier for you. So, but you can do certain things, but it can't like edit a full project for you. There is a software that can do that, but CapCut isn't there yet. But it does use AI to help. But yes, there are some things you can. So does the templates part make sense?
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty simple, and it's on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like I use Premiere Pro. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's like Adobe's. So if you heard of Photoshop, I used to use Premiere. I still use Premiere. It's really good, but CapCut is yeah, yeah, it's a lot more. And then you got to pay for it too. So it's that too. You got to pay 60 some dollars a month. So let me bring that green screen back in. So go back to my import window, click import, find my green screen footage. Here it is. Import it, drag it to the bottom. Cool. Here's my video. Okay. So pretend like, yeah,
Edit like the wall. You just want the green screen.
right.
to show.
Yeah, I'm about to show you. So right now we see how it's kind of showing this right here. Like, and it's gray. We don't want that. We want just the green. So for me, I might just scale in. So I don't see that. So now we just see the green screen. So that's why I was like, it didn't like. That's what I was saying. It's okay if that's shown because we'll probably scale in and crop anyway. So here we got our footage. Cool. Now, how do we take the green out? Well, very simple actually. Click the video, remove BG. So right now it's on basic, but then remove BG. Select chroma key. Make sure that's checked, and then you have this eyedropper, which finds the color for you. And I just hovered it over the green, and it took it out. And so now we play it, we have the green out. But notice, it's still some green around me, right? We don't want that because that doesn't look professional. So let's try to get that green outline out, all of that. So what I do is I like to just play with these markers. So intensity, I like to play with this until it starts to cut me off. Okay, if that's good, I'll just play with my shadows. Okay, then I'll play with my edge. And I'll play with the cleanup. And that looks better. So we don't really see that green. We see some stuff right there, but we can clean that up in a minute. So we got me running, right? Cool. So we got the green out was the first step. Now, let's what do we want to be in the scene that I'm running from? I don't know. Let's just for the sake of example, I have this like desert shot. So like, I don't know. So that you could replace it with a video, a photo, whatever. Use really not whatever, a photo or a video only. So importing the footage that I want to be behind the green screen. So I'm gonna click this, bring this to my timeline. But this is important. The footage that has the green screen and it has to be at the top. So when we play it, we should have that scene. Now, obviously, we would make this look, more realistic depending on the scene. But so I'll show you again. And there is green screen footage on your computer already. So if you want to follow along, you can. Um, so if you click stock or library in your case, and then green screen,
Yes, it's right here.
so you can use any of this. So I'll use this one, this boy.
If I wanted to say the example, okay, say this preset.
Which you mean from?
Before we got to the
Oh, you can. Well, I just deleted it because we're starting fresh, so you can just delete it. Um, but yeah, just find some green screen footage that you see that you want to work with and bring it in. Um, I'm just using this one, but you can use any one. Let me know when you got that. Cool. So, oh, we got it in. So again, let's take out that green. So let's click our video. Always click your video to edit it. And then in the top right, you see remove BG next to basic. All right. Got that going.
Well, there's different green screens.
Yeah.
Okay.
So cool. So now let's take it out. So when you click your video, make sure to select it. Next to basic, it says remove BG, which stands for remove background. Scroll down till you see chroma key. Make sure it's checked blue, green. And then all you have to do is hover over the green and it should take it out. So now it should be black instead of green. Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, but it's this one. Yeah, it's a great one. The what do you call those things? The sliders. They're graying out on mine. It's like it's just like you can't. Yeah, you see. So it's it's maybe one now. What? Yeah, it's a, oh no, no, yeah, it's a, it's 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 we just play with it.
Right. The intensity, shadow, but you don't want to, because if you look, check this out. If you do too much intensity, it starts to take out the original image. So, because everything has every color in it. So if you take out too much green, you actually start taking out the green from them. So I'm just playing with this until it looks good for settings to play with. So right now it looks pretty good. So let me know. Wait,
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. And that was pretty easy. It wasn't that much. So now let's replace the image and the background to something else. So you can use your stock footage that you have. So stock materials, in your case, be library. So click trending. Make sure you get off the green screen section. Uh, let's see. You can select some other ones too. But I don't know if they have pictures in these. But if you do want to use a picture, you could download something from Google. But they don't have like stock picture. They mainly have stock video. But if you want pictures, you can go on Google and like download it. But for the sake of this, I'll do a video. So I'll do maybe, I don't know, just for fun. I may add this heart clip. So notice it didn't work because why? You know why it's not showing? Because the green screen footage has to be above the one you're replacing it with. So I have to place these. So now, if we play it, you should get something like that.
It's like the green screen footage refused to.
Are they so we got our green screen for something. Now let's find out stock footage you can use.
I'm trying to. You see how it refused to come?
There we go. So this happens. So you would want to put this, the green one, the green screen, and put it on top. Make sure, make sure just that's. You're gonna try it again. So shut up.
So I switched it.
So sometimes sometimes and I'll go over the odds too, but it should work. Yeah. Well, the reason we can't really see because it's an explosion of another explosion.
Right.
You do. But if you want to put it up there, you'll see. So this green screen footage has to be at the three. The footage with the green screen has to be at the top for it to show up. So try to yeah. You good with it? Or you know, where you good? Yeah. So yeah, that's. I'll run through it one more time too. So I'm gonna delete everything. And you may not be able to if these aren't um or if these are selected, you may not be able to do that reverse thing that I was showing you. So let's bring some more. Let's try this one more time.
If you want to change the green screen footage, you're able to.
Yeah, just replace it. Like delete that one and then put a new one in. And you can try it for yourself too and see. So I'm gonna bring another because this time I'm gonna use the phone shot. So somebody's like watching a video. So I want to turn that green video into maybe them watching like the clouds or whatever. So first things first, click my video, go to remove background, go to chroma key. Sometimes you got to select the eyedropper, sometimes I already selected, but hover over the green that you want to take out, click it, and it should turn black. So now it's black. That lets us know, okay, it's an empty layer. We can start adding something to it. So again, maybe I want to add like clouds or something like this. Drag it. But notice it didn't replace it. Well, that's because that's not under the footage, green screen footage. It's not under the footage that has the green screen in it. So you got to replace them and put them on top of each other. So now we can see the cloud shot inside of the phone.
Well, that is so cool because that's exactly what that's what I'm trying to do. The smoke.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah. Sorry. What'd you say? So just so I'll do it one more time. So basically, are you trying to get the camera on?
Yeah, he's asking why.
Oh, I don't think it was plugged in.
Yeah.
What was it aiming at me? So yeah, let me show you one more time to do that. So find some green screen footage. So I'm gonna go back to my stock, find green screen. I'll use this time this TV. So bring that TV down. So we see our green that we want to replace. So that green right there, we want to take out. So again, click our clip, go to remove background, scroll down to chroma key. My eyedropper is already clicked, so I just click the green I want to take out. Boom, it's black. Now we have our empty green layer. Now let's add some footage into it. So let's say I want to add like this earth shot. Click and drag it, and then to reverse them to like have this be on top, just grab the bottom one and put it on top, and it should be good. And then you can also bring them back down again. Is it working now? Got that? Got that to work? Cool. So I'm gonna do one more, but this time I'm gonna use a YouTube one. So in case you want to add a YouTube, do something with YouTube in the future, I'm gonna show you how to just do something with YouTube real quick. So go back to green screen. I have this subscribe button. So you know, some people say like and subscribe to my channel. Well, you can just use this, and it's the same idea. Click my clip, move background, chroma key, click the green. We got our YouTube. I'm gonna add my video. Well, I don't want to add my video actually, because there'll be two green screens on top. So I think I'll just add this some sample photos, and then I'm gonna put that subscribe at the top. Crop this in a little bit. And then play it, something like that. And you can use a picture or a video. I just use a picture, but you can use a video too. I can use this.
Like for example, like this is like one video, you can only play one video at a time, right? Like
No, no,
just
keep going. So I'm gonna cut this. So I delete. So I got this, but let's say, well, the footage that we have for this is only like 4 seconds, but you can add another. Like if this was longer, you can keep going. But let's add another green screen footage just to show you. So I can add this phone shot to just keep going, but it won't go forever because each clip is only a certain amount of time. So ideally, if you were doing your own video, you would record it up to how long you need it to be. But for this example, this is only like 4 seconds. That's how long it can be. I can reduce it to less, but I can't extend it to more because that's how long it is. But I can keep adding green screen shots into my clip, into my project to keep it going. So I'll mute it. So I went from this to that. Now you can see, and there's still some green around these edges, so I can start taking that away, playing with that, so it looks cleaner, and that's a lot better. And another thing about this, I want to show you, this doesn't only work for green footage. This can work for any color as long as it's a solid shade of color. So I have some blue screen footage in here too. Sometimes you'll see movies that use blue screen instead of green screen. So uh, we have like the Grinch in here or something. Nah. Yeah, so I got the Grinch. So I'm gonna import this clip from the Grinch, bring it in. So I'm gonna cut it. So just when it gets to the blue part, delete the rest. So now we're just so that's not green, that's blue, but we can still use the same concept. So click our video, move BG, chroma key, do that, add another video. So now we got the Grinch in the desert, but it's still some blue. So let's take some of that out without messing it up too much. And this shot is like low quality, so it's not going to be the best because this is from YouTube. But just to show you what I'm talking about, there you go. So yeah, it works for any color, not just green, but green is just standard. Any questions with that at all? Right. Let's see. Green screen. Okay, so let me just talk about some other little tips and tricks in CapCut really quick. So you know how I was saying you can make rain scenes and stuff like that. So let's say you want to have a scene in your movie or your video, and you want to create this rain scene, but you don't actually have rain outside. And a lot of the time, movies, like if they do a rain scene, it's not real rain. It's like a water kind of thing that spins and it creates like artificial rain. But let's say I want to create a rain scene, so to speak. So let's find some stock footage first. So I'm gonna find like this city shot. So I'm gonna search city. So let's say I'll use this. So, and if you ever want to find some stock footage that you don't know if they'll have it, just search it. So I'm clicking stock on yours. It says library, stock, same thing. I'm just typing city, but you can type in whatever. So this is my stock footage. Boom. Okay. It's a city. So let's say I want to make it look like a rainy day. How can I do that? So go to effects. And then if you click rain, you can see what it looks like with certain shots. So I'm clicking rain. You drag it onto your clip. So now it should look like it's raining. That looks pretty realistic. But we can also make it look even rainier. Like I'm looking out of a window or something. But I think I'll go with no, I think I'll go with the first one. So this looks a little bit more realistic. But let's add some audio too to make it even more realistic. So I'm gonna go to audio, search rain. It's good. And now let's play this and see how this sounds and looks. And we just created this like fake rain scene just by adding special effects. I mean, just by adding like these effects and some audio. So let's try another scene type scene. Um, else we got? We got some lightning shots. So let's okay. So let's do import stock footage. Let's do like a mountain range. Let's use this. Extend it out. So for this shot, actually let's change that. Let's do fire, like an explosion or something. So you type fire. Yeah, so let's say like a volcano just exploded or something. Add this, some little sparks. Didn't really give me much. Let's try something. Try this. Yeah, let's say like a volcano or something exploded. And then let's add a sound effect to make it more realistic. So like fire crackling or something. I'll drag that, play it. The forest is burning or something. So you can create an atmosphere and like a scene with just finding the right effects and the right sound to match it. And this can work for anything really. It doesn't have to be like mountains or a city. It could be a boxing scene or like a car racing scene. So let's try one more example. I'm gonna delete all of my footage. Let's add this car. And we got this like car 3D rendering scene, but I want to add some effects. I want to make it look different, sound different. So I'm gonna go to audio. What sound effect? Maybe like a car racing. So I'm gonna grab that, drag it, and I may even add some rain too. So I'm in effects, just searching rain. Add some rain, make it a little different vibe. And okay, add some rain sound effects with it. And you can keep adding effects and sounds and stuff. So notice I added two sounds. And I want to point this out. I can add multiple audio clips. So you see I got two types of sounds. You can do that. Just like you can do multiple video tracks, you can do multiple audio tracks. So I got two sounds going right now. I got a race scene, like a race sound, and I got the rain sound. So the rain for this rain, and then the car racing sound for the car. So if we play it, it should give us that type of vibe that we want. You know what? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It fits. I didn't even do anything. It just worked. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. And if we really want to make it even more cinematic, and we'll talk about this more later, I think next week, but we can color grade and make our footage different colors and like make it night, give it a different tint. Let's see that. I like that better. Yeah. So that's creating a scene. Um, and notice our footage, our music lasted longer than our video, so we just want to cut that. So now it's all the same length on the timeline. And that's that. Any question? Yeah, yeah. And like I said, this is just stock footage. But if you got footage that you want to work with from home or your phone, or you can bring it in and just edit here. So as I'm saying, it's like I don't Adobe Premiere doesn't even have this stuff to add like rain and stuff. Like you gotta buy presets and stuff, but CapCut is all right here for free. That's what I'm saying. This is and I'm starting to use this more than my other software, Premiere, even though that's more advanced and they use that in the industry. You don't get the same stuff, and like it's just CapCut is what's up. And I'm like, wow. And I'm always on this like, wow, you can do that. I'm like, Premiere needs to step up their game. So,
How do you feel about, I got extras in video?
oh, I've heard of that. Okay. How you spell that?
I think it's just, I edit video.
Oh yeah, this is the AI one. Yep. So you can you can do now this is different because this is you can actually this is like powered by AI. So AI can do everything for you. So that's why they said no editing skills needed, which is interesting because like
Because technically, even if it's AI, you get like power by that, you still have to always edit.
yeah, you do, but it saves you a lot. Like you don't have to do, and it's crazy because back in the day, like when I used to like make music videos for like artists and stuff, I used to have to physically do everything like one by one, take everything in, do everything. But now it's certain stuff that you can just press a button and it does it. So like I'm gonna just show you one, like this effect right here. Um, if you buy like pro version, uh, you can do some stuff that you would have to take months on that now is just a click of a button. Let me see. You can add like this filter. It's just a button. Like before, you would have to go in, turn the saturation down, make it black and white, add blur, all that stuff. But now it's just click of a button, and you get certain effects, and it's crazy. So that's what I said. This is like the easiest time to like everybody should know somewhat about editing just because it's so easier now. Like it's easier now. Before people were like, no, I'm not editing. That sounds like a lot of work or that's scary or intimidating. But no, like it's not that much at all. So like this effect, that like warp thing, you would have to go into Premiere, make all these things, make it fit the motion. But now like it's crazy. It's crazy. And a lot of video editors are like afraid that their jobs are gonna get taken because like now anybody can be an editor basically by just downloading the software. Because a lot of people didn't think it does take skill, but it's getting easier now to not have skill. Like yes, for everything, like there's always those people who like you still need to understand the fundamentals of it because you still need to know how to craft a story. But in terms of like cutting and effects, technical, you can skip all that and just focus on the creative part and just say, okay, I want this, I want this, I want this. Just do it.
Separate
Yes.
because if you put some great stuff together, then in my book, it doesn't come.
Right. It won't make sense. It won't matter. So yeah, exactly. So storytelling is still key for sure, but it saves you so much time now that you could just focus on the story and not have to worry about any of its extra stuff. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of like video editors are like AI is coming in my job field because everybody didn't think AI would come into these creative fields, but like I said, it's still storytelling, so you still need that human authentic aspect to it to still create a captivating story. Because the computer, yes, it can edit all this footage together, but can it draw you in? Can it give you emotion? Can it do certain things? Yeah. So we'll see, but it's crazy. Like music is it's definitely got into music already. Like I saw this one video, they made a Michael Jackson album that Michael Jackson never made, but they used his vocals and his music catalog and created this album. You can. But there's no laws around AI yet because it's so new. That's the problem. They need to have law. They're starting laws now because a lot of people's ideas are being taken and they're using like Michael Jackson's thing, for example. Like somebody, you can make millions off of that, off something that's not real. So uh yeah, like it's like yeah, something like that. So it's yeah, it's starting to get really scary. And so this guy who's like have this unreleased Michael Jackson music, but it wasn't even his music. They just used AI to make it seem like it was his music, and it sounded just like him. I was like, I even thought it was Michael Jackson. I'm like, I've never heard this before. Like, when did he drop this? And they were like, it's AI, bro. It's not real. Never did. And that's what I'm telling you. It's getting so good you can't even recognize. Usually, like AI, if you can recognize it and say, okay, that's not something he would say or do, but it's so good. It's so good. And so it's like, wow. So a lot of artists are starting to have laws around their music saying like you can't duplicate my work. Um, you can't. Yeah, 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 for sure, for sure. And I get it. And so uh yeah.
Sometimes it always starts out as like side projects.
Yeah.
And then it goes viral because people think, like, oh my God, like never heard of this project. Because there are stories where some of the more legendary artists, they got a bunch of unpublished work.
Right.
And you can one of them.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find that Michael Jackson song.
They probably had the exact.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Oh,
I'm telling you. I thought it was a real song. And then they fuse artists like The Weeknd and Michael Jackson and Chris Brown. I'm like, that's not even a thing.
Jackson AI playlist.
Yes, and we give them names and everything, like a woman's worth. Like it sounds like stuff that he would actually make. Let me see. Okay, so everything from the production to the lyrics, the vocal, mixing, all that, all done by me. This is not an official release, but this is Final Song with share file. This is not the one I saw, so I don't know how this is gonna sound. But let's just see. Pretty good. Yeah. So if you didn't know that that was AI, you would think that's one of his actual songs. So that's what I'm saying. And this was how long ago was this? Okay, 5 months ago. But every day is getting better and better. I remember I heard one like maybe like 2 years ago, and that was still good. So I'm even seeing how crazy they're gonna get with it. So yeah, so it's crazy now. Yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Uh Next week we'll get into a little bit more CapCut and then talk about some other stuff like compression and bit rate and exporting. The more boring stuff, but it's still important. But we'll do I'm gonna find a way to make it more engaging just because this stuff can get boring, but it is really important. For example, like compression, important in terms of like, let's say you need to send like a 50 gigabyte file to somebody, but it's too large, you can compress it to reduce the file size and send it to them while keeping the quality of it. So it doesn't reduce the quality of it, but it reduces the file size. So you can turn a 10 gigabyte music video project into 50 megabytes, which is a lot smaller,
The files are so,
large.
yeah.
Yeah,
These videos for like footage that were super cool.
yeah.
I used to always ask, like, yo, how do you guys sit this one? Oh, over in this sketchy ass
Site. Yeah,
and then
compress it.
upload. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we'll talk about that. And so yeah, we'll move on from that. But there's no questions today. That's pretty much all I got. I think next is legal with Elaine and law, like esports law. Yeah, but all right. So you know if Elaine is coming in or she's gonna do okay. All right, Elijah, you still there?
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, that's it for me today. So Elaine's gonna hop on the well online, I think. So yeah, that'll be
Okay.
that. So I'll see you next week.
All right, I'll see you next week.
All right.
sampling, what is sampling specifically, how to sample, and what plugins you can use in FL Studio to sample. So first, I do have two videos that I am going to play, but they're pretty short. But first, I'm going to explain what sampling. So sampling is pretty much you taking the original song from someone, Motown records, some old funk records, whatever, and you're taking it and you're changing it and using it in a different way that fits what you're trying to do. Now, there are usually two choices or two different types of sampling. You have chop sampling. Chop sampling is more so you taking a song, you taking parts out of the song, and you putting it together so it fits to what you're trying to do. Loop sampling is things like drum breaks, vocal loops, instrumental loops that just go over. When you sampling, you are going to deal with a lot of waves. Now you're going to download my MP3 file. You open them up in FL Studio, there would be wave files. I think I have FL. These right here are wave files. So these are music files that have been converted to wave files. Oops, I gotta share that with the light. Hold on, the light. Let me share that with you. Yeah, these are WAV files. So when you download a file, MP3, MP4, whatever, upload it into this program called Edison, which I'm talking about in detail, it's going to convert it to a WAV file. I'm going to do a class probably soon of how to read WAV files, like what to look for, like you want to look for drums, horns, bass, stuff like that. But most of the time when you go into music studios, you're going to see a WAV file, even not just for sample, just when you record yourself for your production, it's always going to be in WAV file. These are some of the biggest files that you can have on your storage device, whatever that is, hard drive, hard drive, external hard drive, whatever. You're going to see these files. They're huge. And when you make music and you have so many WAV files for your drums, for your bass, for whatever, it can get big, pretty quick. And that's not even including plugins. This program right here is called Edison. It's one of my favorite plugins that is built into FL Studio for it's a way that with this I can do whatever. First, I can slow down, I can speed up, I can do some time manipulation, I can cut and paste and cut and paste, I can chop if I wanted to. With this button right here, it can do an auto chop. If you want to chop stuff manually, you can use this one. A bit harder, but it's worth it because it would be cut from what FL Studio is three programs that are built in to be used for sampling, for editing. It's Edison, it's C.L.I.C.K, and it's Fruity Slice. They all are the same thing. I'm going to open up a new one. I'm opening this one back up later. Well, just how to get there, even though yours are a little different from mine, it's pretty much the same. But how to get there, you will go to your mixer board right here. Make sure that you are selected on your master channel. You're going to go to slot one. Right here is Edison. So I click on this, boom, Edison. Let's say I didn't want to use Edison. I wanted to use FL Fruity Slicer or Slicer X. With those are built in actually into your channel rack. So how you would get there is you would choose one of these, doesn't matter. You would right click, you would go to insert or replace. I'm going to insert Slicer X and Fruity Slicer. This is Fruity Slicer. This is what I like to use. It gives it more of an off-kilter feel for my samples, depending on what I want to do. You can do auto slicing. You can do sample sampling. You can dump it to a piano roll and open a slice beat groove also. Right in here, you see it's already selected to dump it to piano roll after I load it up the sample. And then Fruity Slicer, I'm going to replace it. Slicer X, I'm sorry, Slice X. It's pretty much the same thing. It's pretty much Fruity Slicer and Edison put together, but it's built into your channel rack. So the reason why I like to use Edison is because it's built into my mixer. It gives me more control of how I want it to sound, how loud I want it to be. I can add different effects to it if I want to, right? Because it's all put on into just the mixer board. You can do the same with your channel rack, like with Slice X or with Slice X specifically, but it can be complicated down the line once you got to get that mix and master. You can do a lot with FL with Edison and Slice X. So let me go back and open up. I did a demonstration yesterday. I did a demonstration yesterday of something that I sent. Let me. Okay. So this is what I sampled. So I sampled an old song from a Super Nintendo game called Donkey Kong Country 2. So I sampled it. I kind of figured how I wanted to sample it, how I wanted had it in my head. It took me a minute to put everything together. So I'm gonna play how it originally sound. That's all I really wanted right there. I'm gonna do chop sample. So I'm gonna take something from like the end and put it in the beginning. I'm gonna cut a lot of stuff off that I don't want. And it took me probably like an hour, probably a little bit less than that to pretty much figure out how I wanted to sound. So I'm going to play in the channel rack. I'm going to mute everything out. I haven't really worked on this beat yet, but this is how I wanted to sound. So I took the end part and put it in the middle, and I just looped. That's just one way of me sampling. Another way of me sampling would be something like this, where I sample Faith Evans. Sample Faith Evans, not is it this one? Not this one. I sampled Faith Evans, and all I did was I pitched it down, put it through a filter, and this is an example of a loop sample. Let me turn this just a little bit. And all I did was just put that in a low high end filter. I pitched it down and I did some time manipulation also, so I can kind of keep the same speed as the original sample. But that would be an example of a loop sample right there, right? Um, I do have some more videos that I'm actually gonna play. I'm not gonna play the ones I loaded up already. I'm gonna actually two, and I'm gonna go to my favorite one of my favorite YouTube channels, which is Track With. You want to go to one of my favorite songs, period, is a perfect example of a chop sample. It's Little Brother by Black. You
This war has just begun.
Now, a story about this sample. This is a song Ain't Got Time by Warriors, right? One of my favorite songs. The crazy part is that he speaks through the whole song. So throughout the whole song, he's just talking. Jay Dilla, he was a famous producer, one of my favorites of all time. He meticulously went through the beat and he got whatever microsecond, microchop that he can get that he's not speaking. And this is what he did.
That's right. War has just begun. And listen, I see it war. Listen,
We rep the ain't got. Say nobody can't start. Nobody say us.
That's incredibly hard to do micro chops like that and to make it sound like it's all one like put together beat from the get go. That's incredibly hard for anybody to do, right? But he had the mindset, he had the effort the vision that he wanted to put together, and he did that. It's a long story that Questlove tell from the Roots about that specific song also. If you want to check it out, just put in Questlove Jay Dilla, Little Brother, he'll tell the whole story from there. You do have other examples though. You do have other examples though of sampling, right? So that was a version of a chop sample. Let's go to like a loop sample. Um, you know what? No, I do have another sample I do want to play. Let's do this one. This is also an example of a chop sample. And that's an example of a chop sample too. But the producer, who was Sarah Martin and DJ Dahi, they went more into detail. They reversed the sample. Then they pitched it up first. Then they reversed the sample, and then they pretty much probably went through hours, couple hours, trying to figure out how to use what they did, and they made loyalty, which is something that pretty much everybody knows. So chop sampling can be used in multitudes of ways, right? You can do straight chop where you're not changing the tempo, you're not changing the pitch or anything. You're just using the sample as is, but you're chopping it up like with little brother, right? Or you can do something like this where they pitch up and then they reverse and they make something like royalty. Let's go to one more example uh, of a loop sample. Let's do. This would be perfect.
Oh, you look malnourished.
And that's an example.
Question.
Yes.
If you're trying to figure out, I don't know if it's how can you distinguish? So just know some of the songs and how.
Some of the songs, yeah. Like like just growing up, like you would pick up on samples, like especially once you start working on music. Like me, I grew up, in a household. Mom was playing hip hop. She was always playing, R&B, pop, all of that and everything. So once you start working on music and you start listening to certain songs, you're like, oh, I know that song. I know what they sample, whatever, like that, right? One of my first instances to point that out was MC Hammer Prayer. It sampled Prince. This is when Doug. I was a kid. I was a young kid, and I pointed it out. So even something like LL Cool J, "Mama Said Knock You Out," right? One of the samples I know from that song is the James Brown Frankie Drummer sample, which I have right here. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Or it's all like
It is the,
has that song that songs.
yep. So let me show you an example. So I'm going to use Edison, right? So I'm going to go to my mixing board. I'm going to maximize first. Make sure I'm on master. Go to slot one. Go to Edison. Now, you can load up samples a few different ways. One of the ways, of course, is drag and drop. Drag and drop. So if you have a sample on your desktop, go to your desktop, drag it to FL Studio, drop it right there, and it load up. Another way, of course, is going to the file, and then going to load sample, and you go to your folder where all your samples are at. Me, I've been working on some stuff, so I'm going to go to here right here. So this is one of my favorite drum breaks. Right? This would be considered a loop right here, right? And I'm guarantee you heard this drum break in a multitude of hip hop songs, right? Sped up, sped down. You heard that drum pattern and a lot of stuff. Public Enemy Fight the Power. Um, actually, also Public Enemy, Bring the Noise with Anthrax. They used the funky drummer beat. Um,
Benny Pattinson's.
yep, he used funky drummer beat. It's that one, the A-Man drum break, which you probably also heard too. Let me also go to this real quick. The A-Man drum break. Probably, probably the most. This is probably the most simple drum break. That's probably the most simple drum break. You heard that drum break, Powerpuff Girls.
That's
Christina Aguilera.
That was the first thing that came to mind.
Christina Aguilera, she used in a few of her songs. A lot of drum and bass songs in like the early aughts, they used it. A lot of hip hop songs. My favorite all time drum break though would probably be Mountain Red. Okay. This is probably my favorite drum break right here. This is the Kanye West used. So with drum breaks are usually loose, right? They usually loose. They may slow it down, they may turn it up. Kanye, what he does, with specifically with this drum break, he will chop it just regular and then just play it out. So instead of it just doing a loop, he just play it out. But it still be considered a loop because he's playing it in order. So most of your loops would be like drum breaks or like instrumental breaks like that. Those are more so our loops. With chops, it's pretty much everything else, right? Another loop I would say would probably be Father Stretch My Hands Part 1, because the original song is a gospel song and they literally just kind of play a loop and at the end it just loop it could be more loop and more, whatever like that. So those are your loops, right? With sampling, I like to do this class because I'm not expecting you to like sample now, right? Because it's just a complicated thing. You have to find the right song. You got to learn how it's cut. You got to learn a lot of things, and that's just a lot to do. I want to do this class though to show you that you do have the tools within the studio to sample, right? And in a couple of weeks, I am going to have um, a guest probably gonna have to do it online, but he's gonna also show you all how he make beats, how he sample, who he produced for, all of that and everything. It's just FL Studio, right? FL Studio. Um, but sampling is very, very important. Once you get into producing, once you understand how to make your drum patterns, once you understand all of that, sampling will kind of come second hand to you because you will understand patterns of certain samples, how fast it's going, what you can do with it. And you want to chop, right? And look, chopping is a hard thing. So let me show you an example of chopping. Now you can do auto chop, right? If I click right here, which is the medium auto slicing, it's going to chop the beat right there for me. So all those little orange things you see right there are markers that it's chopped. So if I had a keyboard, I got the keyboard from the room back there, I plug it up to my keyboard, I can play simply on the keyboard, right? That's too many chops though. It's 127 chops, so I'm not doing that one. So I'm going to do large square chopping. That's a bit better. This is something I can stomach. So 21 slices. So it's 21 keys on the keyboard that I can play out. Or if you had an MPC, a drum pad, I can have it set up to where it's 36, 9, 12. And then I can have it set up to where I'm going to use these slices. I'm not going to use these slices, or I'm going to use these slices and I'm going to pretty much flip it over, which is you taking your 12 boxes in your NPC and going like to the next page to get access to the other slices. So you can do that also. Um, what we are going to do though, is make your own drum pattern. I mean, not patterns, your own drum kits, right? Because I want to show you something, right? Um, King's Music Highway, right? King's Music Kingsway Music Library. Kingsway, they make samples for bigger artists, right? You heard a lot of their music that they use. Kanye, Drake, they use a lot of stuff from King's Music Highway. And all those are samples, right? Even these kits right here, like the Jake Once and Air Jordan, all of these are just sample drums from what he made and he put them in a pack. So We are eventually going to make your own drum pack, right? You can name it whatever you want to name, it, right? Whatever your alter ego name is going to be, your real name, you're going to make your own drum pack so you can have that because that is a way of sampling, right? So Elijah, you're going to be able to make your own drum folder, right? You're going to take some of your favorite songs and we're going to be able to find what drum, what snare you want because we would do a thing called EQing, right? EQing is also another way to get samples. For example, um, name me one of your favorite songs. Cool. Pilot. Yeah. So later album. I just bought the vinyl. But let's say you wanted to take a snare or a drum off that song, right? So he's rapping. So what we would do is this. We would do this. We would go here to Edison once again. You would go to your EQ. So you can use EQU. We're gonna use EQU. What you could do is you would load up a song. You would have this on your master track, right? So you would have this on your master track. And what you would do is you would take the bass out. So if I remember it right, bass to the left, high to the right. So you just want the drum. So you're going to take his voice out. So you go to the high end right here and just bring all that down, right? Another thing you would do is it'd probably be a lot of bass, a lot of just low end bass. So you would take all of this down right here, right? It's all up. What you're going to do is you're going to end up using EQ spot to pretty much try to tweak out everything else so that drum is just there or that snare is just there or whatever you're trying to use is just there. It it is a process. It will probably take you an hour or two to really get that down. But a lot of producers use EQ to take things out. So, for example, one of my favorite songs is Slum Village Fall in Love. And it's like a horn in it, like in the hook part is a horn, but in the verse part they didn't want that. So what the producer did, who was also Jay Dilla, he took out all the high end and just left the low end. So he took all of this out and just left this up. So what that did was it sounded like a completely different, like they remade the beat just so the verse part could have a part where they can rap over instead of just that loud horn, right? But the loud horn was still there for the hook. So when they rapped the hook, they brought the horn back. And I think that's pretty dope. But producers do use a lot of EQ and a lot. Um it's 7:23. That's pretty much it for my lecture. I just really wanted to talk to you all and teach you all about sampling a little bit in the limited time we have. It is about to be 7:24. So for the next 20 minutes, we're gonna go ahead and just work on your drum patterns because your drum patterns is still the most important thing. So if you need help, just call me over. I can come and help you out. Um, I will put this up if you X this out. I'm going to take these away. I don't need these. One thing I will tell you is to always start your drum pattern. Well, first, go to your pattern lift right here in the corner. Move this out the way. You go right here to your pattern lift, you go to 32, right? Because we use 32. That's the most basic pattern that you hear in music, specifically hip hop. 32 bars, it's an 8 count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're gonna do that. Your FL Studio may look different from mine because I see you looking. Y'all's are actually newer. I'll use.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out too. I'm in the channel.
And you'll see right here in the corner. Yeah, 32. One thing I always tell you all, and I will always tell anybody, when you start off with your drums, first of all, to me, 130 is too slow. So I'm going to turn my tempo. If you right click, I'm going to go to 150. Just for you all, I actually go faster than that. To start your beat, you always want to start off right here on your ones and your twos, right? These are your ones, and these are your twos, and then threes, fours, 5, 6, and 7, and 8, right? You start off on your ones and twos because you can always add and subtract. Because even if you just keep it on your ones and your twos, right? So always start off on your ones and your twos. Another trick also is don't forget to go to your hi-hats. If you right click your hi-hats and you hit every 2 steps, it'll sound like this. Right. So it's things you can do. So if you need help, you feel like you kind of stuck a little bit, you don't know what to add, where to add it, just raise your hand. I can come to you, try to help you out the best I can. I'm not going to make the beat for you, but I am going to point you in directions to help you get what's in your head out into the screen. So, yeah, the next 20 minutes, I'm going to do that. Work on that, and then 7:20, 7:40, probably end up wrapping the classes. Mhm.
It had you go. You see how you have
Oh, what you mean? These right here? Okay, so we probably started off with it. So the June format is I'm using my spot to instance names. Take a look at that already. See your turn. So you say that's going to scale. Yes, that's the future. Teach 2 classes. Yes. Sure. So this is not to move down. Let's start at between times. So we do that. So shapes. I feel closer to them. Okay, so now start you for the basically as we need to be going. Right. And that should be asking for info. We're going to get into that. Use out. If it's doing the works, you go to your text, you click on it, what you hear. Generate. This is how all of these be your ones, your twos, threes, fours, five, six, seven, eight. So I always tell you start at ones, and then you can always so you do a trick for your hi hats. It's the right click it. What sounds good to you? What sounds good to you? When it be 808 heavy, you gotta have headphones. Because I can't hear my 808s on the TV, but you have headphones, so you 808 heavy, you can boom back, you can, it's a lot of drum, it's a lot of passing, a lot of sounds. Like these 5,000 sounds that's going around forever. You can have that. So whatever you want to go for, you can try. Right, but all I ask is that when you start making music, it starts on ones, start to, because you can always grow from there. You can always subtract. Use one. Oh, I guess. Probably different scheme. All right, it's about that time. It's 7:47, so y'all can go ahead and say what you have. Work on it next week. Right. What do we go over today? So today we went on pretty much what is sampling, how to sample, the different types of sampling, and with that, we understand that sampling is a complex thing, but once you get your drum pattern down, once you understand how everything works, sampling will kind of come easy to you. And you also learn the tools that are built into FL Studio that you can use to sample, specifically Edison, Slicer X, and Fruity Slicer. Next week, we'll get into next week we will get into pretty much kind of the same thing, but we also go get into like instrumentation. We're gonna learn how to add instruments to your beats, to your drum pattern. You feel comfortable with that. But if not, you can continue working on your drum pattern. But we will go over them. We'll also go over how to add things like keyboards and NPCs to your laptop or desktop setting, how to configure it, how to work everything out. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can email me at aramis.singleton@clickservicesnfp.org. Or if you see me in class, you can pull me over to the side and ask me any questions you have. But until then, I will see you all next week for music class, and then I will see you all this Friday for streaming class. But until then, y'all have a great night. Elijah, I will see you Friday, all right?
All right, take care now.
You too.